So Harvard and MIT are suing Trump administration, and many other universities are all set to join this lawsuit. And not just that, universities are taking active steps to protect students' interests. So don't worry, here is what is going to happen. This is Chaitanya Sambhara, faculty at the College of Business, University of Texas, Arlington. So University of Texas, Arlington sent off an email regarding changes to the Department of Homeland Security rules. We are committed to supporting our international students. We will work with each international student to ensure a fair and effective educational environment. So university is going to do anything and everything in its capacity to make sure that the students' interests are not hurt. But before we go any further, it is very important to understand why this whole issue is arising. Harvard recently had announced that all of their classes for fall semester will be online. And Harvard's logic was that the health of the people in the university is very important, and they cannot afford to take such a big risk where they endanger the health of students, faculty, and staff. So let us try and understand why Harvard thinks that way. The point is that if students start attending classes in person and they start getting sick, universities will start facing lawsuits from students and their families that the university did not take sufficient precaution, and because of that their child got sick and contracted COVID. So obviously universities would rather be safe than sorry. On the other hand, the government thinks that if students stay home, there will be not enough jobs and the recovery of economy will be even more difficult. If the universities open, dorms will start to get filled up, students will start eating out, they will start spending money on whatever college supplies they need, and because of that, more people will come back into the working force. And the more number of people start earning, the less the government will have to spend on their unemployment benefits, and it will also help improve the economy. And therefore, we are now at a junction where we have two opposing views, and we need to see how these things are eventually resolved. But we have a good news. The first part of this news is that universities are already fighting in court to revoke this decision of asking students to leave the country if all of their coursework is online. Now please understand, while the universities want to stay online, but they do not want to lose international students in particular. And protecting interests of international students is also very important. After all, they are also students, because international students contribute $45 billion to the US economy every year. And guess what? At any given time, we have more than 1 million international students already in the US, many of which have only 1 or 2 courses left to graduate. And suddenly, if those 1 or 2 courses are online, how will they graduate? And their entire investment of time and money will go waste. And universities cannot let that happen. Now let us assume a scenario where this rule is going to stay, where students cannot take more than 1 course completely online. In such a situation, how will universities protect students' interests? And now let me give you an example of what UT Arlington is going to do and how that can actually result in friction between international students and professors. And that is going to be something very interesting to see. So to begin with, let us see what options University of Texas Arlington has come up with. So the first option is normal face-to-face class. That is unlikely to happen. So we have 2 broad options. One is a completely online class, and second is the hybrid class. Now for completely online class as well, there are 2 different ways. One is a completely asynchronous class where a professor can record his or her lectures and post them online. Students can watch those lectures whenever they want, but students are required to submit their homework or whatever portion of their exams by a certain time. And the professor can grade all that work at the time of his choice. This is very similar to those courses that you take on Coursera, Udemy and all these places where everything is asynchronous. The second fully online option is synchronous class, where a professor is supposed to teach the entire class live and the students are expected to attend the class live. Such an option can work, but it could also harm, because it is possible that some students are actually not in the US at the moment, and the time zone issues. For example, if I have a 7 o'clock class, it could be 2 a.m. in some other country, and a synchronous class like that can create issues for students. And not just that, many countries and many cities that are very small may have internet connectivity issues. If that happens, it is yet to be determined how the class will be managed. Now let us come to the option where universities might be forced to convert completely online courses back to some kind of hybrid classes. Now, as per my university, there are 4 different types of hybrid classes. The first hybrid class is where all instruction is online. Testing and student presentations are face-to-face on specified dates and times only up to Thanksgiving. Proctoring services may be required, where somebody comes and proctors while you take your exam, like we call them invigilators in India. Second hybrid model is where a combination of online and face-to-face activities occur in the course. All students meet 1 day per week face-to-face or 1 or 2 days per week online. Now what it means is that if a class meets twice a week, students will come and attend the class face-to-face one of those days, and the other day will be a completely online class. The third hybrid model is the most likely model that will be adopted by most universities. A combination of online and face-to-face activities and instruction occur in the course. Seat time is rotated among students. Let's say a class has 50 students, and to enforce social distancing, what will happen is that if that class meets twice a week, let's say Mondays and Wednesdays, half the students will attend the class on Mondays and the rest half will attend the same class live online, and on Wednesday they will switch. So the rest half will come to class, and that way they will keep students sitting a little away from one another. And more so, as per my understanding, UT Arlington is going to mandate wearing masks at all times while you are on campus. So if you are a student in my class, if you take your mask off, you'll get kicked out. But then how will I teach my class? Like this. Can you hear me? If you can hear, that's fine, but if I'm walking around in the classroom, it feels weird. And the fourth hybrid model is where students take labs in person, or they come to only present their final project work at the end of the semester, and the rest of the class is completely online. So now let me discuss what had happened in my case and why this situation may worry a lot of professors as well. See, I was supposed to teach 2 sessions of an MBA level class this fall semester, one of which was default online class. That won't be changed at all. But the other class was supposed to be face-to-face in person. Now that class was converted to a synchronous online class. So I was supposed to teach the class live with all the students attending the entire class the entire semester online. But now because of this new ruling, my university could be forced to convert that class to a hybrid class, where I will have to actually walk into classroom and teach the class in person for the rest of the semester. See, while the students might switch between 2 classes, but the professor has to show up for every single session. Now in my case, my class meets only once a week. So now I am not too sure how students will switch. Maybe half the students will attend the class one week and the other half will attend the following week. Now this forced hybrid situation, because of this Homeland Security ruling, can actually aggravate a lot of professors, because a lot of faculty are actually much older and they are more at risk at contracting coronavirus. Now because of this ruling, although we really want to protect international students' interests and that they are able to complete their graduation, but it also puts professors that are older to a greater risk. But that doesn't mean that younger faculty are eagerly wanting to walk into a classroom. The point is that, let's say if a younger faculty member walks into classroom and that person contracts the virus from students, now that younger faculty might not die from the virus, but that faculty might bring that virus back home and infect their older parents or other family members. And if such an issue arises, it could become a problem where universities will be caught between 2 opposing ideas. On one hand, we will have international students who want to attend at least a hybrid class. On the other hand, we have professors who might not want to walk into classroom every single week. So to resolve such a situation, universities will have to come up with very strict rules. Universities will have to demarcate every single seat in a classroom where a student can sit, and possibly not allow students to sit in the first row at all. All the students who are attending a class in person should sit on the second row and beyond, and then students must maintain a proper social distancing, and everybody should have very high quality mask. So things will get clear as the time progresses, but if Homeland Security's rule is maintained, universities will find one way or the other to protect our international students. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind and God bless America.